best, obviously.
It's Cattles.
He throws it out there, speaks his mind. That's cool.
It's Ramie.
He's supposed to make people laugh. He's just an expert at it.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
That is the show. No Cattles though, just Ramie. I feel like I'm saying that a lot lately. One day we're gonna get the whole thing together. I promise you. One day it'll actually be Cattles and Ramie afternoons on Sactown Sports 1140. But Chris or JJ won't be here on that day. I'm sure. We got a little less than an hour with you after the A's fall today. In action right here on Sactown Sports 1140. And we're already trying to cram 3 hours of show into a 2-hour bag. Now we're cramming 3 hours of show into a 1-hour bag for you between now and 6 o'clock, including the latest and, to me, what is very confusing in the Kevin Durant saga. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. But want to start the show off talking some 49ers with you, and you can always get in on the show. Text 916-339-1140. Give us a call at 800-920-1140, or you can always watch and comment over there on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. That's how you can follow us all across the digital and social media platforms. Just search for Sactown Sports 1140 to find us. I was reading Tim Kawakami's piece, sort of recapping yesterday in 49ers training camp and what he and others, I saw a number of people yesterday at Niners camp calling Trey Lance's best day after what was Trey Lance's, as Tim and many others put it, worst day so far in 49ers training camp. And all of that with a grain of salt because it's training camp. And as they talk about here, quotes from Kyle Shanahan and Kawakami himself acknowledge that defenses usually are ahead of offenses this year. And so you almost expect that, especially with a first-year starter in Trey Lance at quarterback. And Tim says it was just one practice, but it was important because it showed that Lance could snap back from his bad performance in Sunday's session right after Shanahan said he wanted to see how Lance handled it. And it was important because the 49ers offense needs to believe it can outflank and outthink good defenses, because that is what we've been hearing all camp was, well, this 49ers defense is really good. You have to consider that when you read about Trey Lance and the offense's struggles. But as Tim points out, they've struggled against good defenses for a while now, including 2 losses to Arizona, lost to the Colts, lost to Tennessee all last season, not to mention the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 54 and the fourth quarter of the NFC Championship game in January, just 7 months ago. And he points out that they got Lance so that they could go faster, move faster as an offense. And this was the paragraph that got me. He says, if you look at their schedule, the 49ers probably don't need an electric offense to win in week 1 at Chicago and week 2 against Seattle. Basically, 49ers physical football should win those games, but Shanahan probably needs his offense at full engine power by week 3 against Denver, against Russell Wilson's Broncos, and then especially the Monday night game in week 4 at home against the Rams. Tim is saying that they need Trey Lance and this 49ers offense to be going full engine power by week 3, which got me wondering, when do they need Trey Lance and this offense to hit their stride? And when do you think he and they will? Again, you can text the show 916-339-1140, phones 800-920-1140, and comment over on the YouTube page. Because it very well, like a lot surrounding Trey Lance, could be the difference between a good and a bad season for the San Francisco 49ers. How quickly he and this offense figure things out, and as Tim Kawakami puts it, get to full engine power, could be the difference of, hell, even making the playoffs or not making the playoffs. I know there are Super Bowl aspirations, and rightly so, but a slow start for the 49ers could be the difference between being a playoff team or not being a playoff team. And the NFL really, really hypes everything up. And often it's like too much, like the preseason, like training camp. It's too much. And we feed that. I know I'm part of the problem. It's often too much. But one of the things that a lot of people will point to and go, God, how much attention can you give to this, is the schedule release every year. They have a special for it on NFL Network now. I think a schedule release is really important. for a lot of reasons. The way that your schedule is laid out has a big impact on what could potentially be your season. How many road games do you have in a row? How many tough opponents do you have in a row? And individual, unique situations and circumstances that present themselves to each team are affected by how the schedule is laid out, such as having a second-year, first-year starter at quarterback. You would like an easy schedule early on until he finds his sea legs. You would like a schedule where he doesn't need to win a lot of shootouts or outscore a lot of other offenses. And Tim is absolutely right when he says that you probably won't need the offense to be at full engine power against the Bears. Coming from a Bears fan and the Seattle Seahawks, neither of those teams should be able to score a ton of points against the 49ers. And then he says they will need it, though, by week 3 against the Broncos and week 4 against the Rams. And he's right. I'll take it further, though. Week 5, week 6, Patsy's offenses you probably shouldn't have a lot of trouble with or have to score a lot of points to outscore. But then week 7, you got Kansas City. Week 8, you got the Rams. If this offense isn't clicking and you get outscored by the Broncos, Rams, Chiefs, and Rams again in the first 8 weeks of the season, you could be looking at a 4-4 start with another high-powered offense in the Chargers and the Cardinals and the Saints waiting on the other side of that. And if Tua is as good as Tyreek Hill thinks he is, they'll be facing the 49ers in week 13, Buccaneers in that offense week 14. There are some high-powered offenses on this 49ers schedule, and 4 of them right there in the first 8 weeks of the season. I've been saying all along that it's probably not fair to expect Trey Lance to really hit his stride and find his rhythm and his sea legs and get used to the speed of the NFL and what all these defenses are throwing at him. Probably not fair to ask that of a rookie till week 10, maybe even 12, 13. It's a whole different ball game, pun very much intended, when you're talking about going from the level of competition that Trey Lance faced in a limited sample size in college to what he's going to be facing in college or in the pros. And so there are going to be growing pains. The question is, two-parter, when do they need Lance to hit his stride? When do you think he will? They probably need him to hit his stride in the first half of the schedule before that week 9 bye. To go into week 9 with a winning record, they probably need Trey Lance to hit his stride and start to figure out the NFL sometime in the first half of the schedule. I personally don't think it'll happen. If it happens in his first year as a starter, it'll happen until week 10, 11, 12. And like I said, by then, you've already faced 8 or 9 high-powered offenses. The way the schedule is laid out does not give the 49ers and Trey Lance a lot of breathing room for those growing pains, for that time for him and this offense to get to, again, quoting Tim Kawakami from The Athletic, full engine power as an offense in their first year with Trey Lance at the helm. I didn't even look at the schedule and the way that it all lays out until today and reading that paragraph from Tim. But I think he needs to start to figure it out, and this offense needs to be full power in the first half of the schedule. Will it? I don't know. I think it probably takes about 10, 12 weeks. How about you? Get in on the show. You can text 916-339-1140. Give us a call, 800-920-1140. You can comment over on the YouTube page, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. We'll hear from you and the latest and what I think is very confusing development in the Kevin Durant saga. That's next.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
It's prime
and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
That's the show. No Cattles, just Ramie with you this afternoon. You can get in on the show and contribute to this fine program by texting 916-339-1140. Give us a call, 800-920-1140, or you can comment at youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. Developments in the Kevin Durant story today after he met a couple days ago with Joe Tsai, the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, and reiterated his demand for a trade and threw in, it's either me or Sean Marks and Steve Nash, the general manager and head coach, respectively, of the Brooklyn Nets. Gave him the old ultimatum that he's out of there if that doesn't happen. Well, today, couple new nuggets on the Kevin Durant front. First, and this comes from Ian Begley of SNY, that Kevin Durant sees Boston as a desired landing spot now. Per people familiar with the matter, Durant also would like to play with Boston's Marcus Smart if he is traded to the Celtics, per people familiar with the matter. The Athletic had previously reported, as you may or may not know, that Brooklyn wanted Smart included in a package from the Celtics in any Durant trade, and the Celtics were not willing to throw him in on that. They wanted to hang on to Marcus Smart. So now you have a situation where apparently the hang-up between the Nets and the Celtics is the Celtics don't want to part with Marcus Smart. The Nets don't want to make the deal without Marcus Smart. And Kevin Durant, who's demanded this trade, has said, well, if I get traded to Boston, I want to play with Marcus Smart. Like, dude, how many demands do you have on your way out the door? He already has demands for his new team that he hasn't even been traded to yet. He's already saying, you got to have Marcus Smart if you want me to play in Boston. Then you throw that on top of that, as Begley says, something worth noting as of earlier this week, there were high-ranking members of the Sixers who felt strongly about engaging with Brooklyn on a Durant trade. It is unknown if Brooklyn and Philadelphia have made any recent progress on a trade. And then Frank Isola throws in that Kevin Durant has interest in reuniting with James Harden. What is happening? What exactly is happening here? I'm a Kevin Durant guy. I'm Kevin Durant stan. I like Kevin Durant. The whole thing. The player, the dude, the guy who claps back at people on Twitter, the pettiness, all of it. I like Kevin Durant, all right? I don't understand what's going on here with my guy. I don't know, because, man, the thing that confused me about this whole, and I haven't been here for a couple of days, so please allow me to catch up with my hot Kevin Durant takes, if you will, if you'll indulge me. Like, okay, he wants out of Brooklyn with the first year of a 4-year contract kicking in this year. All right, man, guys get disgruntled with their workplace situation, and if you have leverage, exercise it. Get out. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. Doesn't rub me the wrong way. He doesn't play for my team. So that's fine. But the part of this that confused me was a report that I saw, and I don't remember who it was that reported this, that this was some kind of show of solidarity with Kyrie Irving, who hates Marks and Nash, and that's why Kevin Durant made that ultimatum that you fire those guys or trade me, one or the other. If there's one critique I would have of Kevin Durant, and he wouldn't care, because he doesn't care what people think of him, which is one of the things that I like about the dude. But if I was a friend of Kevin Durant's, I would sit down and be like, man, you might be a little bit too loyal, and your loyalties might be misplaced. Haven't you seen if you want to be friends with Kyrie Irving, be friends with Kyrie Irving. Don't hitch your basketball star to that wagon. You haven't learned yet not to hitch your basketball star to that wagon and hope for good things. And on top of that, now I thought he was done with James Harden. I thought after the way things went down in Brooklyn with James Harden, I thought he'd be done with that dude. And it seemed like there was some friction there. Remember when they had the all-star team draft and Charles Barkley was cracking jokes about James Harden and Kevin Durant was holding the clipboard in front of his face so you wouldn't see him laughing. I thought Kevin Durant, at least from a basketball standpoint, was done with James Harden. And now this dude is willing to go to Philly and reunite with him. Like, how many times can people let you down, man, before you go, you know what? Maybe we're just homies. Maybe the professional side of things, we keep that separate. I need guys I can count on from a basketball standpoint. And James Harden and Kyrie Irving ain't it. That's the only thing about this whole Kevin Durant situation that's got me a little bit confused, man, is you're still hip to hip with Kyrie. You want to go reunite with James Harden, of all people? The Boston thing I get. Although throwing in the Marcus Smart thing just seems like a little bit too much. But the Boston thing I get. That seems like a situation where Kevin Durant could go and prosper and thrive. And hopefully the last chapter of his career for him is a good one and a successful one and one that he can enjoy. But the whole thing with Kyrie Irving and now with being interested in reuniting with James Harden is just, it's baffling to me. And then there was this another little tidbit, and this came from Celtics Wire. Justin Quinn wrote this. Remember the report that the Nets wanted Cat, Anthony Edwards, and 4 first-round picks from the Wolves? When they talked about Kevin Durant, the Wolves were like, you're kidding, right? And the Nets were like, no, we're very serious. They apparently, in the talks with the Celtics, asked for both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Now, on its surface, to me, maybe worth it when you're just talking about the basketball players involved. But, like, what is left in Boston if you trade both of those guys? If you're the Celtics, what's left in Boston to pair with Kevin Durant? The Nets are a little bit out of their minds here, or they just don't really want to trade Kevin Durant, so they're making out-of-pocket demands in these trade talks so the teams walk away from the table. One of those two, they're either crazy or they're doing this intentionally to drive the market price out of the market so that nobody will actually give up what they're looking for Kevin Durant and force him to come back to Brooklyn next year. But again, as an agent of chaos, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. We may continue our tour around the AFC South after this. If not, wait till you hear what Roger Goodell has to say about this Deshaun Watson situation.
It's Cattles. It's Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140. Weekday in the afternoons.
I'm talking to the original tag team of ugly pukes here.
It's Cattles. It's Ramie's.
And someday that tag team is going to be together. And, ooh, buddy, is it going to be good when it's actually Cattles and Ramie. I think Monday, right? Monday it's Cattles and Ramie. Do I have that right? I haven't seen the schedule for next week.
Your guess is good as mine.
Okay. Chris, do you know?
I do know we have an hour show on Monday.
But it's Cattles and Ramie, right? Yeah. Okay.
And I won't be here.
Of course. Okay. All right. When are we all here? When are we all here together?
September 2023.
Okay. Good to know. I mean, it's a 2-year contract for your boy. At some point in these 2 years, and hopefully beyond, it'll be Cattles and Ramie and JJ and Chris all together. Earlier, or actually it was last week. I've been out all week, so it feels like earlier this week. But last week, the NFL formally appealed Deshaun Watson's 6-game suspension, which was handed down by NFL disciplinary officer Sue L. Robinson earlier this month. Well, for the first time since they filed that appeal at a league meeting called to formally approve the Broncos' new ownership group Tuesday, Goodell spoke about the Deshaun Watson appeal. And he, like the commissioner robot that he is, said the things that you would expect Roger Goodell to say in the aftermath of making such a decision. Here he is saying why they are appealing the 6-game suspension.
Well, as you know, as part of the CBA, the two parties had that right. Either party could certainly challenge and appeal that. And that was something that we thought was our right to do, as well as the NFLPS, and we decided it was the right thing to do.
Because we can. Is his answer, and why they are appealing the 6-game suspension of Deshaun Watson. Because they can, is essentially what Roger Goodell is saying there. And hey, man, I'm not here to defend Deshaun Watson. I didn't think 6 games and no financial penalty and no kind of counseling or therapy to, make Deshaun Watson a healthier person and not inflict these things on other people in the future being part of the punishment. Well, that was crazy to me, but I'm just talking about the procedure here. And Roger Goodell knows what he was being asked. When he was asked, why are you appealing? He was being asked, what are the procedural legal things that you're appealing as to where she got this whole thing wrong. But ultimately, Goodell played the high ground card, the moral high ground card of the NFL, simply saying, we're just doing what's the right thing to do.
Because we've seen the evidence, she was very clear about the evidence. She reinforced the evidence that there was multiple violations here, and they were egregious, and it was predatory behavior. Those are things that we felt, we always felt were really important for us to address.
All true. All true. I agree with Roger Goodell on everything he said. But does anybody really believe that the NFL is appealing the Deshaun Watson 6-game suspension just because it's the right thing to do? Oh, it's just the NFL just is always doing the right thing, man, for all the right Is there anybody, please, by all means, give me a call. 800-920-1140. Shoot me a text, 916-339-1140. Chris, JJ, feel free to answer. Does anybody really believe that the NFL is doing this because it's just the right thing to do?
No.
Okay.
And if there was no public outcry of like, this is absolutely ridiculous, it would have just been like, oh, it would be that Homer Simpson gif where he
backs into the bushes.
Off.
He just goes, okay,
like nothing happened.
I guess this goes out of the headlines. I guess this story is done and over with and not a problem for the NFL anymore, is how this is being treated if there isn't public outcry. Twitter makes Roger Goodell's job much harder. Twitter makes Roger Goodell's job much, much harder than it would have been, 25, 30 years ago as the NFL commissioner, because that is largely how he determines what he's going to do when situations like the Deshaun Watson situation comes up. Like Roger Goodell sat in a boardroom at a big conference table made out of fancy wood. I don't know what kind of wood, but some kind of really like mahogany.
I was just gonna say
right?
mahogany.
It's got to be mahogany,
not a pine.
And he sat there with his morality committee to make this decision. It wasn't like some marketing committee. It wasn't people going, I think this is going to hurt us. This Deshaun Watson decision, it's going to hurt us in women age whatever 25 to 54. I think we should do something about it to make sure we keep that demographic in the good graces of the NFL, because it's not for me, it's not for Chris, it's not for JJ, it's probably not for anybody listening, because let's be real, we're not going anywhere. The NFL makes decisions like this based on the fringe or the casual fan that they're afraid they might lose with bad headlines. The NFL sits down when the Deshaun Watson decision is handed down and they go, okay, is this story dead now? And can we move on from it before it leaves more blemishes on the shield? Or do we have to appeal to protect our bottom line? That's the only thing that Roger Goodell and the NFL care about. Please spare me the we're doing this because it's the right thing to do line, man. Please spare me that. But you know what? He can't, because he's doing that for the same reason that they're filing this appeal. He knows that runs on Good Morning America today after he says that yesterday. And the casual football fan is watching and going, oh, what a good upstanding citizen Roger Goodell is. They're going to do this because it's the right thing to do. Right on, man. I support the NFL. Let me go out and buy a new t-shirt or jersey before this season gets started. That's all that this is about. That's all that this is about. And like I said, this was all, he said this at the meeting to approve the new ownership of the Denver Broncos, this is the Walmart family, right? Isn't that who bought this?
And it is the second Walmart family to own an NFL team.
Really?
Stan Kroenke.
Wait, there are two Walmart families?
So Kroenke is
there
married
the Wall side and the Mart side?
Kroenke's married into the Walton family.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice job. Good job, dude. You know what I mean? No? I mean, the money's good. But this was Rob Walton thanking the commissioner and the league for letting them into this esteemed club.
Thank you, everybody. It's great to see you today. And I'd like to thank Roger Goodell, Commissioner Goodell. We're just so excited to become officially a part of the Broncos. It's a big, big day for us.
I love that he did it twice.
Yes.
They called him Roger Goodell. And somebody was like, no, you got it wrong. He was like, let me fix that. Commissioner Goodell. My bad.
You're right. I gotta be proper.
Can you imagine your first day at your new job and you mispronounce your boss's name?
He's not
I guess
boss.
He is. Yeah, he's Roger Goodell's boss.
Is that the NFL owner equivalent of when they say like, oh, if you go someplace new, get in a fight with the biggest guy in the yard?
Yeah.
Is that how he proved his point? Oh, I'm gonna act like I don't even know.
That's
his
a
name.
power play. I don't even know this guy's name. Who are you again? Commissioner who now?
Commissioner whatever.
Goodell? Is that what that says on that cue card over there that I'm reading? Is that Goodell?
Mr. Goodell. Commissioner Goodell.
That's amazing. I love that. Just one more segment left. Short show today for A's baseball. And after this, new season of Hard Knocks debuted. And I think we got now a bad football team, but maybe some TV stars in the new season of Hard Knocks next.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140. Rubbing elbows, talking sports, and lots of other stuff.
They always keep you on edge.
That's really crazy interesting. It's Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports 1140.
That's the show. Final segment. Taking you right up till about 6 o'clock. A couple comments on the YouTube page. Tony Dog says, how much of a suspension should you give for sexual assault? And follow that up with, funny thing is that for 3 days straight, when this show says to contact them, they ignore the YouTube chat room all of a sudden. Tony, you sent it right before the break, man. We got a clock we got to stick to. I saw you. And I don't, look, man, there ain't no right suspension. Nothing is going to make, if Deshaun Watson is guilty of what he did, nothing is going to make it right for those women. All right? So I don't know if there is a right suspension, but 6 games certainly feels light. And again, no financial element to the punishment. And this was the most glaring thing to me missing from the punishment by Judge Robinson was no counseling, no therapy of any kind for Deshaun Watson to feel some remorse and figure out why he allegedly did these things and how he can prevent himself from doing it again. To save himself, but more importantly, the potential alleged victims of his from having to go through this again. That's more games, yes, but some money should be taken out of his pocket, and there should be some element of therapy or counseling or something that, again, gets to the bottom of why he is allegedly doing these things. So keep commenting on YouTube, Tony, and the rest of you. Sactownsports.com or Sactown Sports 1140. Is where you can find us on the YouTubes. Last night, new season of Hard Knocks started up, and it's the Detroit Lions this year. I tried to watch it, but HBO Max, get your stuff together. All right? I've been having issues with you lately. First, you nix Batgirl, and now I can't log into my HBO Max account. All right?
It took me a solid 10 tries.
Were you having issues too?
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
They're telling me my account expired, even though it has not expired. And I'm not going to get on
You're still taking my money. I mean, so it's not expired.
I should clarify that. My parents' account is not expired. All right. It is up to date. They have paid their bill. They still have cable and subscribe to HBO, and they get HBO Max. And so therefore I get HBO Max. And first of all, and we're going to get to Dan Campbell in a second, because I knew Dan Campbell would be pretty good in terms of the TV, the entertainment value of a Hard Knocks. But I think that the surprise star of all this was Deuce Staley, the former running back, now offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. And he's got rules for his running backs rooms, folks. This was Deuce Staley yesterday on Hard Knocks.
No busting ass in here, Justin. If you do got to get up, go outside the door. Take about 8 seconds and stay out there. It's my count. No, I'm counting. You got to use the bathroom. Go. All right. It's a serious fine if you do bust your ass. Yep. And you get kicked out. Everybody good? Everybody know, right? Nope. Those that did it before know, right? Sound like we know all the things? No.
For those of you who don't know, when he says busting ass, he means no farting. No farting in the meeting room. You are to go outside if you are going to fart, and be back in 8 seconds, because I'm counting. That's pressure, man.
Is he going that way, or is he saying stay out there so there's not a linger coming back in?
That's probably what it is. He doesn't want him to crop dust back into the room.
Don't do like a quick
right.
8 alligators.
Right.
You come back in when I tell you to come back in.
Right. Stay out there. Wait. Let things air out a little bit, and then walk. Because when you open a door, there's that draft of air that comes with you when you open a door. He doesn't want them dragging that in. But my favorite, now again, I didn't watch it, just highlights that I saw on Twitter, was the back and forth between Staley and I think he's their defensive backs coach. Am I right? I don't know if I have that right. Aaron Glenn on the practice field yesterday.
He know it's on. Ain't no need to even talk about it.
Why are you circling me though?
I'm sorry. Huh?
Why are you circling me?
That's what the vultures do. They just keep circling.
I truly love him,
Yes, love.
but I want to him up between the lines. I'm going to tell you straight up.
Yeah, AG and start right here, baby.
And dudes, you're absolutely right.
Ain't no doubt.
You want something, we're going to give you something.
Yeah, well, we're going to take it.
We want something, we're going to give you something. We're going to give you everything you want. Let's go, man, compete. Out-compete them. They'll talk.
Stop the screen.
5-yard
Stop
route.
the screen. Oh,
You
great.
had
Stop the screen.
5-yard route.
Great. Stop the screen.
You want to talk
I'm happy for you.
5-yard route.
I'm happy for you.
You should be.
Yeah, you stop the screen. I ain't heard you
Hey,
all.
thank you, dog.
Now you woke up. You forgot to tell him we playing today. You forgot to tell him we playing today.
Man, y'all had a one play, now you want to talk.
He looks scared.
I love it. I love it. That's two former players that still have the mentality as players, even though they have the hat on and the whistle hanging around their neck. Those guys still are acting like. I thought there was going to be a fight at one point when I was watching that. Like, I thought the Sting was going to. I thought it was going to come to blows between Aaron Glenn and Deuce Staley. I love that. As far as entertainment value, I don't know how effective it is from a coaching standpoint, but from entertainment value, that's good TV right there between those two. And speaking of good TV, but maybe not great coaching, I knew Dan Campbell was going to make for some good TV. And the dude did not disappoint in the premiere of Hard Knocks yesterday. I don't even know what this even means. This part right here. Give me the first Campbell clip, Chris, without spoiling it for the folks.
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
What does that mean, Dan Campbell? What does that mean? He's
saying everybody can get it, Ramie.
But what? Like,
everybody can get it.
Even if you have one ass cheek and 3 fingers. Who has one ass cheek and 3 fingers? And what exactly is he saying?
And what has Dan Campbell done to somebody?
You guys, we all remember his introductory press conference last year where he was talking about biting off kneecaps and everything else. What is this man ever even talking about? He's out of his damn mind. And then there was this analogy, which made no sense, bro. Made no sense whatsoever, Dan Campbell.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? I think it's that right there. It's grit. And what does it mean? In a nutshell, I think it means this. We'll go a little bit longer, we'll push a little harder, and we'll think a little deeper and a little sharper.
Okay.
It means we're unbreakable.
It's all making sense so far.
Like, to me, it means we'll play anywhere. We'll play on grass. We'll play on turf. We'll go to landfill. Doesn't matter.
Nope.
And that's what we got to be.
You're playing a landfill.
That's who we have to be. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to bury you. Let's go to work, man. It's about to be fun. O&D.
Bro, you're treading water and burying people at the same time? Where are you? You're in a landfill, but you're also treading water and burying people? What? Where are you in this analogy, Dan Campbell?
Have you been to a landfill anytime lately there, Ramie?
No. Is there a lot of water there?
There's a lot going on right now with global warming, brother. You just don't know.
What is this man talking about? I've been confused by Dan Campbell since the day he got the head coaching job in Detroit, and he was talking about biting off people's kneecaps. Now he's in a landfill in water, treading, but burying people. You don't bury people in water, you drown them in water. Dan Campbell, I love the dude. You know what I mean? Big heart. He'll be screaming and motivating you one second and crying and hugging you and consoling you the next. And I love that. I love that he feels all the feels. But, dude, it ain't working. It's not going to work. Mostly because it's the Lions. But also, I just don't think Dan Campbell is head coaching material. Maybe he proves me wrong. Maybe at some point he proves me wrong. 3 hours of this program tomorrow. Still no Cattles, but 3 hours of this program tomorrow with me, Ramie Makhlouf, JJ, Chris Verlad. We're all back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Thank you all for listening, watching, contributing to Cows and Ramie on Sactown Sports 1140. Talk to you tomorrow.
Reconsider, read some living, for sure on the subject. You